Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Vrikshavalli Amhasuyari Vanachare Vrikshavalli Amhasuyari Vanachare Vrikshavalli Amhasuyari Vanachare Vrikshavalli Amhasuyari Vanachare Vakshihi Suswade Alaveti Vakshihi Suswade Alaveti Panduranga Hari Jai Jai Panduranga Hari 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 Panduranga 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 Vitala Panduranga 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 Vitala 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 Vitala
Jai Jai Panduranga Hare Panduranga Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Youth Jam. Thank you so much for joining. If possible, please turn your cameras on. I think it's a smaller group today, so we'll get a better chance to know each other today throughout the session. So as we usually start, we begin with a prayer. So one of the devotees will place the prayer format within the chat, and then we can begin Youth Jam with that prayer. So does anyone have a nomination for anyone on the call that they would like to make the prayer? You can just, okay, so Manya nominates Ishika. Ishika, go ahead, you can make the prayer. And the format's in the chat.
Okay. Dear Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra, if you so desire, please bestow your blessings upon us on this session today, and please consider our humble request.
Thank you so much, Ishika. That was a really sweet prayer. So now we're going to move on to the format of the program. So just to give a bit of a heads up of how our schedule will be today, since it was Gora Purnima just a few days ago, we'll be reading the Mangalacharan as well as the translations, doing our chat, and then we have a special article we found that we're going to be doing a breakout room discussion of, and within that we'll get to meet each other and discuss. So we'll get started first with doing the Mangalacharan, and Manya will be leading us through that.
Great. Hare Krishna, everyone. We can just say it behind muted mics and follow along. Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan Ishameshavataраkan Tat Prakasham Shatat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gaudadaya Pushpavanto Chitra Shando Tamonudo Yadadvaitam Brahmopanishadi Tadapyasya Tanubha Ya Atmantaryami Purusha Iti Soshamsha Vibhavaha Shadaishvarya Purno Ya Iha Bhagavan Sasvayamayam Na Chaitanyat Krishnat Jagati Paratatvam Param Iha Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunayavatirna Kalo Samarpayitum Unutojvala Rasam Bhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratu Va Sachinandanaha Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Shaktirasmat Ekatmanavapi Bhuvi Puradeha Bedam Gatauto Chaitanyakyam Prakatam Adhuna Tatvayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhava Jyoti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva Svadyo Yena Bhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Va Madiya Saukyam Chasya Mad Anubhavata Kidrisham Veti Lobhat Tad Bhavatya Samajani Shachi Garbha Sindho Harindo Sankarshana Karanato Yashai Garbhodashai Cha Payoptishai Sheshashayasyam Kalasanitya Nandakya Rama Sharanam Mamastu Mayati Devyapi Vaikunthaloke Purnaishvarya Shri Chaturvyuhamadye Rupam Yasyotphati Sankarshanakyam Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye Maya Bharta Janda Sankarshayanga Sete Sakshat Karanam Bodhimatye Yasyaikamsha Shri Puman Adi Devas Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye Yasyam Shamsha Shila Garbhodashai Yanabhyabjam Lokasanghatanalam Lokasrashtu Sutikadama Dhatus Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye Yasyam Shamsha Paratma Kilanam Poshta Vishnurvadi Tukdaptishai Shrauni Bharta Yat Kalasyopyanantas तं श्रीनित्यानन्दरामं प्रपद्ये। महाविष्णुर्जगत्कर्ता मायया सृजत् यदा तस्यावतार एवायम् अद्वैताचार्य ईश्वरः। अद्वैतं हरिणाद्वैतात् आचार्यं भक्तिशंशनात् भक्तावतारमीशं तम् अद्वैताचार्यम् आश्रये। पञ्चतत्त्वमकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। जयतां सुरतोपङ्गोर्मम मन्दामतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्भोजो राधामदनमोहनो। दिव्यात् बृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमदा श्रीमद्रत्नागरसिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद् राधाशीलगोविन्ददेवो पृष्ठलिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमन्द्रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थिता कर्षन् वेणुस्वनर्गोपीत् गोपीनाथ श्रियस्तनः। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्तवृंदा। हे दीन ठाकुर गौड़िया के कारिया चेन आत्मसात ए दीन चरण वंदोन तीन मोरनाथ। ग्रंथेरारंभे करी मंगलाचरण गुरु वैष्णव भगवान तीनरा स्मरण होय विघ्न विनाशन अनायासे होय निज वांछिता पुराण। Krishna.
And now Manya will be leading us through the translations as well.
Okay, yes. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual masters, the devotees of the Lord's incarnations, his plenary portions, his energies, and the primeval Lord himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Maybe we can have people read as well. So if you would like to read, you can raise your hand and we can have about 3 verses per person. So I'll just get started and read 2 more. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance, and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord known as the Supersoul is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him.
May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sakshi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in the age of Kali, by his causeless mercy, to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before. The most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's eternal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, previously they separated themselves. Now these 2 transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him, who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him, that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Sachidevi as the moon appeared from the ocean.
May Sri Nityananda Rama be the object of my consistent remembrance. Sankarsana, Shesha, Naga, and the Vishnus who lie on the Karana ocean, Garbha ocean, and ocean of milk are his plenary portions and the portions of his plenary portions. I surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Rama, who is known as Sankarsana. In the midst of the Chaturvyuha, consisting of Vasudev, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, he possesses full opulences and resides in Vaikuntha Loka, far beyond the material creation. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Rama, whose partial representation called Karanadakshay Vishnu lying on the Karana ocean is the original Purusha, the master of the illusionary energy and the shelter of all the universes.
I offer my respect. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, a partial part of whom is Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. From the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu sprouts the lotus that is the birthplace of Brahma, the engineer of the universe. The stem of the lotus is the resting place of the multitude of planets. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose secondary part is the Vishnu lying in the ocean of milk. That Kshirodakashayi Vishnu is the super soul of all living entities, and the maintainer of all the universes. Sheshanag is his further subpart. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya.
Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. And because he propagates the call of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord and the incarnation of the Lord's devotees. Therefore, I take shelter of him. I offer my obeisances unto the Lord, the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is non-different from his features as a devotee, devotional incarnation, devotional manifestation, pure devotee, and devotional energy. Glory to the all merciful Radha and Madan Mohan. I am lame and ill-advised, yet they are my directors, and their lotus feet are everything to me.
In a temple of jewels in Vrindavan, underneath the desire tree, Shri Radha Govinda, served by their most confidential associates, sit upon an effulgent throne. I offer my humble obeisances unto them. Shri Srila Gopinatha, who originated the transcendental mellow of the rasa dance, stands on the shore in Vamshivata and attracts the attention of the cowherd damsels with the sounds of his celebrated flute. May they all confer upon his benediction. Glory to Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda, glory to Advaita Chandra, and glory to all the devotees of Sri Gaura.
Mayuri, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah. These three deities of Vrindavana, Madana Mohana, Govinda, and Gopinatha, have absorbed the heart and soul of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, followers of Lord Chaitanya. I worship their lotus feet, for they are the lords of my heart. In the beginning of this narration, simply by remembering the spiritual master, the devotees of the Lord, and the personality of Godhead, I have invoked their benedictions. Such remembrance destroys all difficulties and very easily enables one to fulfill his own desires.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for participating in that reading. Now we'll be going into Chad, and that'll be led by Bradras Bhavana.
Wait, what? Hare Krishna. So we'll be doing chapter 7 still. Let me just pull that up. So we'll just be doing their shlokas today, as we've got more planned for the program. Feel free to repeat, or rather follow along behind your muted mics. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjanmadashraya Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yathagyasya Tachrinu Jnanam Teham Savijnanam Idam Vakshyam Yasheshata Yajgyatva Neha Bhuyonyaj Gyatavyam Avashishyate Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kashchid Yatati Siddhaye Yatatam Api Siddhanam Kaschin Mam Veti Tatvata Bhumirapo Nalo Vayu Kham Mano Buddhireva Cha Ahankara Iti Yamme Bhinna Prakritirashtadha Apareyam nitastwanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yaedam dharyate jagat etad yonini bhutani sarvani tyupadharaya aham kritsnasya jagata prabhava pralayastatha matta parataram nanyat किंचिद अस्ति धनंजय मयि सर्वम इदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव रसोऽहम् अप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययो प्रणव सर्ववेदेषु शब्दखे पौरुषं नृषु पुण्यो गन्धः पृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसौ जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु बीजं मां सर्वभूतानां विधि पार्थ सनातनं बुद्धिर्बुद्धिमतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम् बलं बलवतां चाहं कामरागविवर्जितं धर्माविरुद्धो भूतेषु कामोऽस्मि भरतर्षभ ये चैव सात्विका भावा राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वहं तेषु ते मयि त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैर् एभिः सर्वम् इदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम् दैवी ह्येषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायाम् एतां तरन्ति ते न मां दुष्कृतिनो मूढा प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमा मायया परितज्ञाना आसुरं भावमाश्रिता चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जना सुकृतिनोऽर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुर अर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्त एकभक्तिर्विशिष्यते प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थम् अहं स च मम प्रिया उदारा सर्व एवैते ज्ञानी त्वात्मैव मे मतम् आस्थितः स हि युक्तात्मा मामेवानुत्तमां गतिम् बहूनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते वासुदेव सर्वमिति स महात्मा सुदुर्लभः कामैस्तैस्तैहृतज्ञाना प्रपद्यन्ते न्यदेवता तं तं नियममास्थाय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया यो यो यां तनुं भक्तः श्रद्धयार्चितुमिच्छति तस्य तस्याचलां श्रद्धां तामेव विदधाम्यहम् स तया श्रद्धया युक्तस्तस्याराधनम् ईहते लभते च ततः कामान् मयेव विहितान् हितान् अन्तवत्तु फलं तेषां तद्भवत्यल्पमेधसां देवान् देवयजो यान्ति मद्भक्ता यान्ति मामपि अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं मन्यन्ते मां बुद्धय परं भावम् अजानन्तो ममाव्ययम् अनुत्तमम् नाहं प्रकाश सर्वस्य योगमाया समावृत मूढोऽयं नाभिजानाति लोको माम् अजमव्ययम् वेदाहं समतीतानि वर्तमानानि चार्जुन भविष्यानि च भूतानि मां तु वेद न कश्चन इच्छद्वेषसमुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्वे यान्ति परन्तप येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ता भजन्ते मां दृढव्रता जरामरणमोक्षाय माम् आश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदु कृत्स्नम् अध्यात्मं कर्म चाखिलम् साधिभूतादिदैवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदु प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसा ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासूपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्ण अर्जुनसंवादे ज्ञानविज्ञानयोगो नाम सप्तमोऽध्यायः Hari Om. Thank you all for doing Chad with us today. And now we'll have some special reading, and Tungavidya Devi Dasi will lead us to it. First of all, we'd like to congratulate Tungavidya Devi Dasi. She got initiated just 2 days ago on Gaur Purnima. You might know her as Tulsi Patel. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone, for your sweet wishes and blessings. So we'll be reading a very special article from the Back to Godhead magazine. Bajra Bhavana, could you actually share that? Thank you. So it's titled A Spiritual Study of Greed. There's definitely multiple paragraphs, so I think we can all split it up. So if you would like to read, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll probably start it off here, though. The black marketeers who have been recently raided in large scale by the police in Bihar are almost in all cases rich merchants, millionaires, landlords, etc. It would not have been possible for them to hoard such huge quantities of clothes and food grains if they would not have possessed extra wealth to do the mischief. These people were not needy men, but they amassed money and hoarded commodities out of a passion for accumulating wealth, not only for their personal enjoyment, but also for their enjoyment of their future generation.
Such diseased persons who do not know the highest value of human life, but simply go on amassing money unnecessarily and immorally for the simple reason of sense gratification, are described in the Bhagavad Gita, BG 16.6 through 20, as asuras, or the demons, or the opposite numbers of the gods. The asura is generally faithless, an unbeliever in the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is led to think that otherwise he could not act so irresponsibly. His main principle of life is to satisfy the material senses coupled with undue pride and vanity of possessing more. It is unknown to him that his mind is the controlling agent of his material senses. Above his mind there is intelligence, and above his intelligence there is his living spirit known as the soul. He amasses money for enjoying it in the estimation of sense gratification, but not for the benefit of the soul. He does this business till the end of creation and makes arrangement by legalized documents how his future generations who may come to his home to enjoy the amassed wealth. His only business is to see how much bank balance he possessed yesterday and how it has increased today. He thinks of annihilating one enemy today and others tomorrow, and tries to pose himself as one of the dominating gods as if he has had attained to all perfection of life through the medium of money. But such asura is always bound up by the laws of nature, which he does not know. Simply for the sake of sense enjoyment, which is permanently transient and bereaving, he amasses money by all sorts of means influenced by a disposition of passion, anger, and lust. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that such class of asuras, who are the lowest of the human being because they are not only mean, but also envious to other fellow beings, are forced to take birth in the lower grades of life after life. Still, they are completely forgetful of the very existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This forgetfulness of the relation with Godhead is the standard life of the animals, and that is the highest punishment that can be inflicted by nature on a living being. Keisha, go ahead.
So the Asura, although apparently he seems to be fortunate enough by possession of much material wealth, is actually most unfortunate creature. Wealth is considered to be Lakshmi, the mother of opulence, or the internal energy of Godhead. And such Mother Lakshmi is eternal consort of Narayana, father of all Naras, or the living entities, the personality of Godhead. Therefore, whenever there is Narayana, surely there is the eternal consort Lakshmi. But where there is no realization of Narayana, the apparent existence of Lakshmi is the false representation of her existence, just like Sita, who is Lakshmi herself, was falsely in the position of Ravana. Ravana is an ideal Ashura who wanted to possess Sita by cheating Sri Ram. The result was that Ravana was vanquished with all his paraphernalia. It should be noted, therefore, that the ultimate destiny of the Asura is just like that of Ravana.
You can read one more.
Okay. The descendants of Ravana in the present age may take lessons from the fate of their celebrated forefather, that they must not try to possess wealth or captivate Lakshmi simply by cheating her lord, the Narayana, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If they want to have money from Lakshmi and bestowed with her favor, they must keep in contact with Narayana, the Lord of the universe. We shall discuss in a separate article how such contact with Narayana can be made possible.
Thank you, Keshav. Mayuri, could you read the next two paragraphs?
Sure. Lakshmi, the eternal consort of Narayana, is always engaged in the service of her lord. She cannot be detached from such eternal service, and if the Asura, like his forefather Ravana, tries to snatch Lakshmi from the service of Narayana, surely the Asura will meet with the same fate as Ravana met with. Forgetfulness of Narayana, the Godhead, and possession of wealth of Lakshmi goes ill together. The Asura, however, imagines that Lakshmi, having been in his possession, the Lord of Lakshmi Narayana has become poverty stricken. He does not know that neither Lakshmi can be dispossessed of Narayana, nor the latter can be made poverty-stricken. The Asura, therefore, in the course of a sense-gratifying process, exhibits a disposition of kindness by distributing a fraction of his ill-gotten wealth for the benefit of the so-called poverty-stricken Narayana, Daridra Narayana. Such conceptions are manufactured in the rabid brain of the Asura.
Thank you. Bhakta Haridas, could you read the next two paragraphs?
Okay. Narayan is the singular origin of all Naras. Nara means living entity, and Ayana means the repose. In the Bhagavad Gita, we can get the information that all living entities, irrespective of who their source of birth or species, are all born of the Almighty Father, Sri Krishna, who is not different from Narayan. He is the begetting father, and the material nature is the material source of their birth. The Supreme Godhead, being the father of all living beings, everyone has got birthright share in the property of Godhead according to his plan. Such plan is not direct design of the Almighty Father, but it is influenced by the living entities according to their mode of nature, which they confront in the relative world. The Asuras do not know this plan of God, nor do they believe in it. The Godhead, as Father of all living entities, is equal to everyone. He does not design anyone's activity subjectively or objectively, neither does he create anyone's factual results. The actions and the results are all outcomes of the mode of nature of a particular living entity, as it has imbibed by its association with different modes of nature. That is the instruction we get from Bhagavad Gita.
The black marketeers are, therefore, not influenced by any design of Godhead, but they have become so by dint of their association with the modes of passion and ignorance. Unrestricted hankering after wealth is the result of the mode of passion, for unsatiated enjoyment and madness after this sort of business is the result of the mode of ignorance, and they are due to lack of cultivating the mode of goodness, which alone can endow them with a sense of proper vision and knowledge of life. State cannot check or banish out the black marketing process simply by police action, personal appeal, or by legislative conventions. The mode of ignorance and passion have pervaded the whole atmosphere. The mode of goodness has altogether been banished from the religious social life of the present generation. Attempt was made by leaders of men to revive the mode of goodness of the general populace, but for want of proper handling the desired result was not obtained. It is not necessary or expected that every one of the members of the general public will be able to develop this mode of goodness. But if there were only 50 heads all over the world who might have imbibed and practiced in the mode of goodness, the whole atmosphere of the world would have changed at once. One moon is sufficient to illuminate the whole firmament, but millions of stars cannot even remove the darkness of night.
In order to save the world from a greater catastrophe, which seems to be impending, some of the big heads of every state of the world must now combine to implement in their characters the mode of goodness. When they are so, general public will try to follow their footprints, even if the members of public themselves cannot imbibe such nature. It is necessary, therefore, that an association of really sincere gentlemen, who may be termed to be devotees, or so, should now be formed with a view to end the animal type of civilization. The civilization which has no other end in view than to solve the necessities of the body and mind only is surely doomed to meet such calamities as are daily happening in the present age. The ignorant population, whose basic principle of life is animality, only cannot but eat one another's flesh by such noble method as black marketing or similar such sinister habits.
There is clear-cut ways and means as to how one can achieve the quality of goodness, stated in the Bhagavad Gita. One is to imbibe the characteristic goodness of habits in respect of bodily and mental activities, controlling the movements of speech, mind, belly, generating organ, anger, and tongue. For any sincere gentleman, the whole course of achieving success in the above-mentioned endeavors does not take a period more than a year only. Above all, controlling the habits of the tongue is the most important item, and who has controlled over the tongue is systematically able to control over all other senses. The socio-political leaders must be those who have passed the above course of controlling system. Sometimes leaders of superior capacity exhibit such controlling system without any systematic training. For want of systematic training, one is to take about 30 to 40 years to become a regular controller of the senses. One should therefore take up the standard process of attaining such success prescribed by the authority. According to the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahatmas are all imbibed with all godly qualities, and as such, the Mahatmas are invariably devotees of the personality of Godhead. Such Mahatmas undoubtedly know that it perfectly well that the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the primal cause of everything. So to become a Mahatma is to learn the art of understanding the personality of Godhead. To be continued. All right, Haribol, hope you guys enjoyed that article. And for the next activity, we're going to be going into breakout rooms where you'll be with some of the devotees on this call. So we've made 3 breakout rooms. And within those 3, there'll be some like a mini icebreaker just so you get to meet the others, as well as some thought-provoking discussion questions. So we'll come back in about 15 minutes. And yeah, hope you guys have a good time. Keshav, Chaitanya, Gora, Mayuri, and Swati, are you able to join the breakout rooms? Are you having issues? Keshav and Mayuri, do you need help joining the breakout rooms? Okay, I think it's just Mayuri now. Mayuri, do you need help joining the breakout room?
Yeah, whenever it said that we were supposed to join the breakout room, then it just logged us out of the meeting.
Oh, okay. Let me try to help you with that. Give me 1 second.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. My laptop just wanted to restart by itself, so I was in breakout room 3, so
Okay, breakout room 3, do you remember who your leader was?
Manya.
Okay, I'll just get you back in that. Thank you. Did the breakout room open up?
Can you just try one more time? I don't really know. I didn't.
Okay, I'll try one more time for you.
Thank you.
It should be there if you look through your settings. It might let you join a breakout room. Hare Krishna, Levant. We're doing breakout rooms right now with this really cool discussion about greed. Would you like to join one?
Yeah, please add us. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'll just put you in one. Give me 1 second.
Okay, looks like we actually need to choose a representative from our team to give some reflections. Do any of you feel interested in doing that?
All right, well, everyone, welcome back from the breakout rooms. I believe everyone's back. React with an emoji if you had a good time that describes how your time was or like how you felt in the breakout room. Okay, hearts, party emojis. Navia was giggling. You can see. So it seemed like it went really well. So that's good to hear. So now we're gonna go through the three different rooms, and the leads can just share the representative who wanted to speak, and then you guys can share like something you took away from the discussion, or just some points that you guys were discussing that maybe stuck out to you. So the first room was Bredras Pavanas. Do you want to say who your representative is? And then they can go ahead and speak. Okay, I just messaged that his is Arav. So Arav, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. So my takeaway from this was uh, the more sattva gun people in this world, the mode of goodness people that we have in this world, the whole world will be cured of uh, greed, lust, all of this tamagun and rajagun, because one moon can light the night sky, but millions of stars will still be very dim in the sky too, so they can't light up the whole sky, which is Prabhupada's very good point. And we can't have uh, Lakshmi without Narayan, and we can't have Narayan without Lakshmi. We can't have greed for money and not have the Supreme Lord in our heart like that. Hare Krishna.
Wow, those are really good points. Sounds like your guys' discussion was very fruitful. So thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, people are in the chat also are agreeing with that. So next is Manya's group. She said that her representative is Agniba. So do you want to go ahead and
Yeah.
share what stuck up to you?
Like what stuck up to me because like my like
Or just, and you can talk about the discussion in the group, maybe whatever you
our
feel.
discussion was mostly about like the summary of the article and some key points that we took, like basically like about greed, Narayana and Lakshmi, how they stay hand in hand together. And then we were like asking our own questions from the article, saying like what are the main differences between like materialistic wealth and like spiritual wealth. And then another scenario was brought up that what if you have materialistic wealth and you have spiritual wealth? How can you exercise that? How can you use that? And we were talking about different ways to like use your materialistic wealth, money mostly, to like be spiritual. And then somebody, I think it was Mathily, I think, or somebody, I forgot. They said that they were oh sorry, Niharika. They said that they went to this one temple thing, this temple event where they were talking about like self-care. And basically, like in the self-care, they were asking, how do you take care of yourself? Most people were just saying materialistic things, but then some people actually said spirituality. And like basically, spirituality is the main thing of self-care. And then we just elaborated a discussion about that. It was just like different questions asked and the article. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun. So I'm glad to hear that your breakout room went really well. Um, and for Dangavidya's group, her rep is Haridas. So feel free to share what you guys discussed or what you took away.
So one thing was that from whatever wealth we have now, next life we are not going to be able to take. We are not going to be able to take a single penny with us. So we should use our time wisely, and we should know what we are spending our time on, and we should try to spend it on more spiritual things than material things, and we should try to accumulate spiritual credits and not material credits. Also, we also learned that we should try to be and we should not be greedy, and we should think about what we have and not what others have that we don't. We should think about what we have, so that way we we don't get greedy to have what others have. That were a few key points that we took away.
Wow, those were really strong. Thank you so much for sharing. And now, besides those who just shared what happened in the group, if anyone else wants to bring up a realization or thought they had, or even something they appreciated that someone else said in the group that stuck with them, feel free to raise your hand. We have some time so we can go through a couple. Okay, Bredra Spavana.
I asked I asked everyone in my group about how they would tell someone else that that their wealth is not theirs, and I really liked the answers that everyone gave. I particularly like Navia's one where she said that it's like a bank teller when they're working at a bank, they're handling all this money, they're getting money from people, they're keeping it in the bank, they're using the money for other people, and they're just acting as a servant. They're this instrument in the whole process of the bank, but that money is actually never theirs. And so, in the same way, when we are interacting with this world and earning wealth and so on, that money is actually not ours. It's supposed to be used in the service of Krishna. And so, I really like that analogy she used. It was a great thought bridge.
Okay. Wow, that's really nice. Thank you, Nevia, for that analogy, and Bredras for sharing that analogy so all of us could hear it. Manya, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I was reflecting on what Ara was saying about the mode of goodness, and I've been thinking about how we can actually change our consciousness such that it doesn't want to have material wealth as much and kind of want spiritual wealth. So I was thinking about if we kind of cultivate that mode of goodness. And in the article, I was talking about how that mode of goodness has been banned kind of in present society. So it feels almost bad. And even like, waking up early in the morning is technically mode of goodness, but it's not considered the best thing. So I was thinking a practical way for us to help out with that wealth problem or issue is to strive for more mode of goodness activities. Yeah.
That's really nice. Thank you, Manya. Tunga Vidya?
I had 2 points to add. So Ishika had a very similar point to what Navya shared, which is that Lakshmi, like Srila Prabhupada talks about how Lakshmi Devi is always, you can't serve Lakshmi Devi without Narayan. So the idea of um, Lakshmi Devi is always traveling. And so that money's never as necessarily yours. You might pay someone else, they pay you, it's in the bank, it's somewhere else, you're investing it, who knows what. And so I thought that was a really great point, is how she's just literally always traveling. And so when you hear that phrase, you can actually see it for yourself. And then Nitai made a really great connection to a pastime from Krishna Lila about how the cows, in the forest fire pastime, they got really greedy and they went to go look for grass, and then they got stuck in a forest fire. So he was mentioning how like the lesson from that is that if you get if you get really greedy, you're gonna lead yourself into some pretty serious danger.
Oh, it's a funny one. I really like that one. Thank you so much, Tunga Vidya, for sharing. Does anyone else want to go say anything about their group? If not, we can, or even the article. So if anything else is on anyone's mind, you can speak twice, no worries, if that's something you want. Okay, it looks like that's everyone. So I'm glad to see that everyone seemed to really enjoy the activity. And now we'll just move on to general reflections. If anyone has anything they've been realizing over the course of their lives, school, whatever's going on in the world, their own sadhana, whatever they've been observing, feel free to raise your hand and share what's on your mind. Manya.
Yeah. I was just reflecting on with Gaur Purnima how in Krishna consciousness, like every day just feels like a festival. And for Gaur Purnima, like there's, 2 or 3 programs that I know that are going around in my area, and it just feels like everyone's so involved in celebrating Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthday and just being so grateful. So I was appreciating that, how we go all out for festivals, and how that's so important in our spiritual life. Yeah.
That's so true. It keeps life really exciting to have so many festivals all the time in our community. Bredros Bhavana.
Also on the topic of Gaur Purnima, I was listening to some a lecture by Radhanath Swami where he was talking about um, Mahaprabhu's pastimes after his father passed away. And his father, Jagannath Mishra, said, well, now I'm leaving you to the protection of Krishna. And then that week, I believe, Sachi Mata was at home and Mahaprabhu just started breaking everything. He broke every single pot. He took a big stick and was yelling and breaking it all. He was breaking the grain bags, he was breaking the oil, he was breaking the milk. And Sachi Mata she was so scared, she hid in a room. And then after that, um, after Mahaprabhu like stopped breaking things, she got him some food and said, "Here, have this." And then he was like, "Okay." And then he felt satisfied. And then she asked him, "What were you doing? Why were you breaking everything? Your father left. We have no food now. I'm a widow. We have no money. We're poor. What are we going to do?" And Mahaprabhu, he just said, "Well, we're left to the protection. We're under the protection of Krishna, and so Krishna will provide whatever we need, and there's no need to worry." And so very dramatically, he was making this point that Krishna will truly protect someone. And then the next day, he went out to play with his friends as a teenager, and he came back with um, a bag of gold, just a bunch of gold, and he gave that to his mom and he said, "Look, there's no need to worry." And so that was a very interesting story relating to what we were talking about today with greed, where Krishna, he boldly declares that he will carry what we lack and he'll provide what we need. And so we can definitely just take that trust, and Mahaprabhu showed that point in the story.
Wow, that was a really good story. Thank you for sharing that. And it's kind of amusing because Mahaprabhu is Krishna, so he was like showing his devotees, like, I really will protect you. So that was really nice. Vidya?
Also on the theme of Gaur Purnima, so when I was visiting ISV for Gaur Purnima, we actually showed up to the temple on Wednesday afternoon and the power was out. And that was a very wild experience because it was very clear that there was a lot to be done in the temple and the power was out. They had no electricity, so they somehow plugged in an electric car into the front and were using that to power the altar lights. But aside from that, there were literally no lights in the temple. And yet the whole place was just teeming with devotees. Like there was literally no space to walk whatsoever in the temple room. And just seeing the dedication of all the devotees to just get like they were just so happy, even though the lights were out and it was just like chaos. And just to see that kind of enthusiasm and that dedication to their craft and their service to Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan was just really incredible. And I've also heard the stories of like devotees staying up all night just to do decorations and just make sure everything's done. So, just to see that kind of dedication in person was really inspiring.
Yeah, that's so sweet. In the Bay Area, it's been raining a lot, so we've had super high winds, and just seeing all the devotees who went to the temple was very touching and how much service they're doing. So thank you for bringing that up. Any last words anyone wants to pitch in?
Also on the topic of Gaur Purnima, I found it really like heartwarming how like everyone showed up on like a Thursday night and like usually people are very busy throughout the week, but I've also found like planning my day around going to temple and like making everything like align is like a way of doing like it's like a way of like I think it's like almost a service to like Krishna and like organizing your schedule in such a way that you can like give time to Krishna is also like such an important facet. And I found that really nice recently. And it's really nice to see in that in the community as well.
Yeah, totally. It's definitely a big sadhana just to show up and come to the temple, driving in the rain. Everything people do to come to temple is big service. So thank you, Niharika. Anyone else? Feel free to chime in. Okay, it looks like that was the last one, so we can close the program on that note. Thank you all so much for joining. We hope you enjoyed today's program. And next week, we'll be continuing with Maraj here. And stay tuned for the email and social media posts to see what the topic and theme will be. So thank you all so much for joining. Have a wonderful week. Haribol.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.